My name is Chloe Simmons. I am 31 years old. I have been married to my husband, Ryan Morris, for 6 years. We were unable to have children for the first 2 years of our marriage, so we have been undergoing fertility treatments for the last 4 years. I met Ryan while working as a nurse at a university hospital. Ryan was a pharmacist near the hospital pharmacy. When we got married, Ryan took over his family's business, Morris Pharmacy. My father, who is a doctor, gave us a house and a car as a wedding gift. I am living peacefully as a housewife in our spacious home. You've fallen asleep here again. You're going to catch a cold. Ryan is dozing off with his head on his study desk. He has been working late every night, studying to turn around the struggling Morris Pharmacy he inherited from my father-in-law. Geez, papers are scattered everywhere. Are you sure you don't have any important documents? I ask, but he shows no sign of waking up. While I am tidying up the study, I accidentally knock over the garbage bin, causing Ryan's commuter bag to tip over and reveal its contents. Great, now it's more of a mess. I mutter as I try to put the bag back, but then I find something shocking. What is this? In my hand is a photo of an unfamiliar child and a woman who appears to be a mistress. And that is not all. There is also a signed divorce paper ready. This woman, the woman in the photo who seems to be his mistress, I know very well. There is no way I could forget her. She is Emily Adams, a junior nurse from my days at the university hospital. Emily was always blatantly chasing doctors, so she settled for a pharmacist like Ryan when she couldn't get a doctor. Fine, I will deal with this thoroughly. I decide to act normally for the time being and wait for Ryan to go on a business trip before submitting the divorce papers myself. Feeling obliged to explain to my in-laws, I visit their home. Hey, there's something serious. Oh, Chloe, well, we are sorry about our son. Cooper is struggling for words. Well, I am retiring from the pharmacy. Ryan took over, but when it comes to the next successor, we can only think of a grandchild. As much as it pains us, Emily has given birth to the successor, so we thought Ryan should divorce you and remarry Emily. Maybe you can forgive Ryan because he is your son, but forgiving Emily too, that is just wrong. I understand, but Joel, I think you are misunderstanding Emily. She was kind enough to write a letter to me and my mom. She wrote candidly about her feelings for Ryan, the child, everything. They have been completely fooled by Emily. Everything is going exactly as she planned. Well, I have my own plans. I sold the house and the car and vanished completely. Ryan and my in-laws must have panicked because they started looking for me everywhere. Eventually, my father must have told them where I was. They came to visit me at the vacation home owned by my father, the Simmons family, bringing Emily along. I don't know what you're gonna say, but I have evidence. I hired a detective and had them submit lots of photos as proof. It's showtime to wake up my in-laws from Emily's deception. Ryan and Emily sat on the sofa facing me, while my in-laws brought chairs from the dining table to sit on. Emily, long time no see. Never thought we'd meet again like this. I mean, you were all about doctors, right? Did you expand your range to pharmacists too after being rejected by doctors? Oh, I see. You're hitting 30 and no one's interested anymore, so you went for Ryan. Don't just blame Emily. I'm equally guilty, and Cole and I are already divorced. Ryan was completely defiant. I couldn't believe his nerve, even now. Then why did you look for me? Just leave me alone. Well, everything from the house to the car was gone, so we thought maybe Joel had done something rash. What? I would never do something like that. They thought I was so shocked and damaged that I couldn't stand up. No way. I'm not that weak. I've got a ton of shocking truths for you and for your parents, too, all with evidence. It's only right that I get blamed. But Emily has my 2-year-old child. I know Joel went through a lot with the fertility treatments, but I gotta take responsibility, right? The letter that Emily gave you, it's all lies, you know? I was laying a trap. Even a detective couldn't get the contents of a letter given to my in-laws. But it was probably some tear-jerking, tragic heroine story. Emily understands Ryan well. She doesn't stir up his complex about not becoming a doctor. Joel's father does everything for her, right? But sometimes that feels like looking down on our family. Emily supports Ryan, she's kind to us. She brought us the good news we've been wanting about a child. After all, when we run a family business, succession is a big deal. Emily has been like a real daughter to us, cozying up to me and Dad, and even gave us a grandchild. She's going to live with us when she marries Ryan. She's promised to take care of us in our old age. Even though she's a nurse too, she's so different. I know my in-laws have always felt uneasy about the stark differences between their home and my family's, but at least I've never been arrogant or bragged about it. So Emily's the perfect daughter-in-law, and I'm a failure, right? Cooper and Jasmine exchanged glances. Glances and communicate silently. They are completely moved by Emily's letter, which is rare for young people to write these days. Well then, let me add some fuel to the fire. I lay out several photos on the glass table. This is Emily in these photos, right? And the man a bit ahead of her. That's her lover, isn't it? What? Emily's lover? My in-laws lean in to look at the photos. She has been with this man for 3 years. 3 years? That's about when she started seeing me. Ryan, you're so clueless. This man is the father of Emily's child. That can't be true. For these 3 years, I have been providing for Emily and making sure our son, Asher, has everything he needs. Are you saying he's not my son? That's nonsense. Jealousy is so unbecoming, Joel. It's not like you. I know you don't want to believe it, but there's something definitive. Ryan and his parents wait eagerly for my next words. Emily's eyes are darting around. She must be scared, I think. She always did when she was unsure as a nurse. Ryan and I have been going through fertility treatments for 4 years, but we have never had a child. There's a reason for that. Ryan has azoospermia, he's infertile. I have wasted these 4 years putting my body through all this for nothing. Is that certain? If it's just a bitter lie from Joel, it's not funny. You have to watch your words. Here's a diagnosis from the doctor. But that alone won't convince you, will it? Then why not do a DNA test? I have talked to my father, we can do it anytime. Here's the DNA kit. Just swab your saliva on this cotton swab. What do you say, Ryan? Emily? We definitely want to do that. Then Emily can prove without a doubt that Asher is Ryan's child. Ryan can't interact with Asher in this uncertain state, right? We both want to know if he's truly our grandson and worthy to be the successor. I refuse. A woman knows who the father is when she gets pregnant. It's almost like intuition. Joel has been so confident, but she could have orchestrated all this, right? Then what's your relationship with the man in this photo? This is in front of a motel, right? Not only that, the reports say you frequently visit this man's house. And you leave Asher with your parents a lot, do you? Where does the money for all this come from? This man is a friend. Just a friend. He doesn't like kids, so I can't bring Asher along. Hey, Ryan finally seemed to remember something. He suddenly raised his voice emotionally. This guy, he's Emily's ex, right? The one she said was bothering her. The guy we paid off. Is that so? Might as well do a DNA test for this ex and Asher while we're at it, huh? No matter who his father is, to Asher, Ryan is his father. Don't take away his father for his sake. It's weird that they met on a dating app. Nowadays, 1 out of every 5 couples gets married through a dating app. Nothing strange in this era. I don't see what's weird about it. Joel, you always had this nosy old lady vibe, even though you're only a year older. What are you talking about? I've covered for your mistakes countless times. All you ever thought about was how to snag a doctor. Well, no smart doctor would choose someone like Emily, right? They'd choose someone intellectual and refined, someone they wouldn't be embarrassed to walk with. You wanted to marry a doctor and live a luxurious, carefree life, but no doctor ever gave you a second glance. I remember those days well. It's where I met Ryan and where I was burdened with taking care of Emily. Ryan often came to our ward in the afternoon, deliver medicine to the patients. Oh, Dr. Bennett didn't talk to me again today. I gave my number to Dr. Watson, but he hasn't made a move. Emily was like this every day. Back then, Ryan and I were just a nurse and pharmacist working at the same hospital. But our relationship started when he was there for me during a rough time. Ryan, did you forgive Joel for having an affair with the doctor? She only started dating you because the doctor she was having an affair with dumped her, right? You were kind to her when she was hurt, and she took advantage of that kindness, didn't she? At least that's how I see it. I've heard nurses have bad luck with men. Joel had an affair. Emily lies and deceives Ryan. So much for nurses being caring and compassionate. Cole comes from a good family, but seems to lack any sense of morality. Aren't you embarrassed? It's true that I had an affair, so I can't say anything back without it sounding like an excuse. It's also true that I leaned on Ryan when I was heartbroken, and there's no arguing that. There's too much of a class difference between Joel's family and ours. Joel's family are doctors, but we just run a small pharmacy. We were never a good match. Joel's naive and never perfect at housework. The mother-in-law's attacks are always directed at the daughter-in-law. It's true that Ryan became my emotional support. That's why, even though the fertility treatments were tough, I held on to hope for a child with Ryan. And all this time, he was having an affair with Emily and pampering her. Do you still blame me even after knowing this? I can understand why Ryan would have an affair. There were many times he felt like he was in a different world with Cole. He was always tense around her. In contrast, Emily was a time of relaxation for him. Relaxation for him. Even with all this evidence, are you still going to defend Emily? Emily was two-timing Ryan with a guy she met on a dating app. She shifted to Ryan only because the other guy didn't take responsibility. Ryan was just being used because she thought he was easy to manipulate. You say that, but I was the one who played Cupid for you and Ryan, remember? I was the one who invited you to the mixer after you broke up with your affair partner. Indeed, it was Emily who invited me to the mixer where I met Ryan. I knew his face and name, but we weren't close. It happened because Ryan was interested in me and consulted a colleague who happened to be Emily's coworker. Why did you, who played Cupid, go after Ryan then? Was it intentional? Did you take him because he was my husband? Don't flatter yourself. What do you mean, stole my husband? I've had a good impression of Ryan since our university hospital days. I wanted to be with someone like him. Don't give me those sweet-sounding words. You liked that doctor I had an affair with, didn't you? I knew it. That's why you told his wife about the affair, didn't you? Your husband is having an affair. Do you remember those times? When Emily found out about my affair with the doctor, I had a bad feeling. She was the last person who should have known. And my premonition turned out to be right. What I did, it's only natural to be repaid in kind. Even if I was Ryan's mistress, it's atonement for the sins you committed in the past, Joel. But to use Ryan and tie him down with a child that's not his, how is that right? Ryan loves Asher dearly, and Asher thinks of Ryan as his father, without a doubt. Then, why keep the boyfriend from the dating app at the same time? You relied on Ryan for financial reasons, right? That boyfriend was a jobless guy, huh? Emily, your strike zone is pretty wide. From chasing doctors to ultimately a jobless guy. You've become realistic, I guess. You've grown up. Thank you for the compliment. But in the end, Ryan and Joel divorced, so I win, right? You never caught on while we were dating, did you? If you had, Joel wouldn't have stayed silent. You were surprisingly oblivious, weren't you? Ryan was a bit careless too, but I'm surprised you never caught on. Maybe you just lost interest in him. I think your marriage is over anyway. It wasn't that I lost interest. I trusted Ryan. I couldn't believe it after all the love he showed in our marriage. I must have been overconfident that I was loved. You might not want to see this, but please take a look. This is the email exchange between Emily and her match from the dating app. I put the copies of the emails on the table. I still had cards up my sleeve. This was something even the detective praised for obtaining. She bribed the man from the dating app with money. Emily's relationship was fragile, after all. Things were going well. I told Ryan I needed money to take Asher to the hospital because he was sick, and he transferred it right away. Ryan is like a money tree. But he recently asked me to marry him since he's divorcing his wife. And he wants me to live with his parents. It's a joke, right? Why do I have to live with elderly people? He sees me as a caretaker. Ryan can be so insensitive. Well, Ryan was cool back at the university hospital, but now he's just an old man. Ever since he took over the family pharmacy, he's let himself go. It's just him and his parents at work, so there's no need for competitiveness or ambition. Even Ryan, who used to look so cool, turned out like that. He is scary. Would you like to see more? Emily was clearly shaken. She probably didn't expect this much evidence. I think it was unexpected for her that the man from the dating app betrayed her. However, in the email exchanges obtained by the detective, there was no definite statement about the child's father. If I had to choose, it would be this part. Why? Don't you believe me? The child is Ryan's. Well, the timing overlaps, but I took the morning after pill. Don't worry, he won't suddenly ask to take care of him or go somewhere together. Ryan. He's our ATM, so I'll act in front of him. I'm an actress, Emily Adams. What do you think after seeing this? From what we see here, it seems that Ryan is indeed the father of the child. But Jewel, you just can't accept that Emily's child is Ryan's, can you? I was planning to settle this with a DNA test, but Mom and Dad, are you okay with leaving things uncertain? If so, there's no need to bother with the DNA test. I've divorced Ryan, so you're free to do as you please. Remarry Emily, take in the child, and add him to your family registry. However, I just want to let you know what kind of person Emily is, so you don't suffer later. From what I see in the emails, Emily doesn't plan to live with Mom and Dad. Hold on a second. I had no idea Emily was saying things like this behind my back. That ex-boyfriend, he just wants to mess with us, doesn't he? Ryan now turns to Emily looking anxious. He can be insensitive and oblivious at times. What's going on with this man from the dating app now? Huh? Like I said, he's just a friend. We've been close since before I was with Ryan, like best friends. I don't have many female friends, you know? Women can be spiteful and hold grudges. Hold grudges like Joel, but my male friends are straightforward and easy to be with. That's why I'll continue to be good friends with him. No wonder a woman like her isn't liked by other women. She's the epitome of what women dislike. But the email says you have no intention of marrying me. I even wrote the divorce papers intending to marry you. I never said anything about divorcing Joel to marry you. You just jumped the gun, didn't you? But there's a responsibility as Asher's father, right? Wasn't the talk about marrying me and raising Asher together? Even my parents agreed to help with childcare and were okay with us living together. Now the conversation is going in a weird direction. It's all because Joel interfered. Suddenly, the house and car are gone and I'm left with nothing. Joel is enjoying her time in the vacation home. Really, Joel, raised as a spoiled lady, never considers others. And now hiring a detective and exposing all this. You just want to bring me and Emily down. Yes, it's none of my business anymore. But it's been proven that you're infertile, Ryan. I pointed emphatically again at the doctor's diagnosis I had laid out on the table earlier. Are you still going to acknowledge Emily's child as your own after seeing this? That's a fake diagnosis, right? Anyone can forge that. Why stop me from having a child just because you can't? Dad always talks about a successor, but do you know how tough it is to run the pharmacy? I've been handling the finances, and at this rate, it might end with Ryan and not even make it to the next generation. Actually, it's hard to say. I've had to ask Joel's father, Mr. Simmons, for financial help. Wait a minute, Emily. I want to know how you feel. Do you really want to marry Ryan and live with his son? It seems like you're avoiding the question. Joel has gone to great lengths here. I think it's her final act of kindness. You were married for 6 years. Joel must have some feelings. They say blood relation doesn't matter, but honestly, I don't think I can wholeheartedly love and cherish a grandchild who isn't related by blood. I'm not too bothered about it. I can see him as an important grandchild who will be our successor. Dad, you keep talking about a successor, but do you realize how tough running the pharmacy is? I've been handling the numbers, and at this rate, it might end with Ryan's generation. Actually, it's hard to say. I've had to ask Joel's father for financial help. That was news to me. It must be a dire situation for the proud Morris family matriarch to swallow her pride and ask for help. Despite complaining about how different our worlds were, they turned to money when in need. So you're talking about selling the store, right? What? Huh? Well, I was gonna talk about it, but I don't think we can keep the store going. People would rather go to big pharmacy chains. We have a limited selection, nothing new, and high prices. No wonder customers don't come. In the worst case, both Dad and I have pharmacy licenses, so we can find jobs elsewhere. It might be better to sell the store and get it over with. So that's it. Emily really is calculating. Using marriage to Ryan as bait, her goal is to cash in on the sale of the pharmacy. Without such benefits, there's no reason for her to cling to Ryan. She's using the child and the prospect of money to her advantage. It's pathetic how Ryan still doesn't realize this. Don't joke around. Who says we're selling the store? You don't have the authority to decide that. It's a store that's been in the family since Grandpa's time. You worked hard at the university hospital, and I was hoping you'd help boost the store. To think about selling it on your own, what are you thinking? Sure, our small pharmacy is losing customers, but we still have loyal ones. Many have said they'd be in trouble if Morris Pharmacy were gone. We've been getting by, thanks to those customers. Yeah, I get that, Mom and Dad. Mom, do you think the business is struggling? Then wouldn't it be refreshing to sell and have some financial relief? We could use the money to build a multi-generational home. Now I see why the conversation about living together came up. Maybe he felt uncomfortable in the apartment my father bought. At home, they wouldn't have to hold back, and there's no need to keep it constantly clean. Nevertheless, living with parents-in-law is probably the last thing a woman like Emily would want. Does Ryan really think everything will go as he plans? It seems like we're going in a different direction here, so I'm out. Emily's declaration left Ryan, Cooper, and Jasmine looking at her in confusion. I thought living with Ryan and Asher wouldn't be so bad, but it feels wrong. I can't see myself as a homemaker. Being a homemaker is the most boring and the last thing I'd want. Guess this is goodbye to Ryan and me. Wait a minute, what do you mean? I divorced Joel and I'm ready to take care of Asher. Dad and Mom understand about him? And now you're saying goodbye? Literally goodbye. I'm tired of this. I've reached my goal already. Yeah, right. Emily's aim was to break up Ryan and me. But now that the plan to sell the store seems off, you're taking your hands off his family, right? You're quick to catch on. So, Ryan has become useless to you, hasn't he? Things are getting complicated, so I'm leaving. Emily, wait. Let's talk this through. I'm left feeling unresolved. Ryan chased after Emily. Cooper looked up to the sky while Jasmine bowed her head. A month had passed since the meeting at the vacation home. I moved to Hawaii, living a carefree life in my Hawaiian vacation home. I'm even sensing the beginnings of a new romance in this open and free land. Shortly thereafter, Morris Pharmacy closed. Not sold as Ryan had mentioned, but more like it went under due to running at a loss. They ended up in debt instead of making a profit. It seems Emily and Ryan broke up. There was no longer any benefit for her to stay with him. She also broke up with the guy from the dating app. After the man who was supposed to be Asher's father left her, Emily, with no financial prospects, started working. Leaving her child with her parents as usual, she utilized her nursing qualifications to work at a hospital. But she was so incompetent at her job that she quickly got fired. Emily hops from job to job, leading an unstable life.